Talafalava, welcome, gang, uh, to our Q&A. Another great episode we have right now. Another great episode we have with the Uso Inoke Hafoka. Welcome, Uso. Thank you for having me in your home. I see you got the five shirt on. Well, let's jump right into it.
Let's do it.
Share your journey and how it all started and when did you receive your Tatau?
Yeah. So my name is Inoke Hafoka, born and raised in Salt Lake City, Glendale, Utah. And just kind of jumping right into it, I was able to receive my Tatau from the Faiva not too long ago, February, oh no, sorry, April 2022.
Mm-hmm.
So just a couple months before I moved over here, and it was a really good experience.
What
One,
inspired you?
yeah. I think I had a friend, uh, Samoan from Salt Lake, is West Valley, Jake Fitzsimon.
Mm-hmm.
He had invited me to come to. Uh, he was beginning his process. We had talked about it for a good amount of years of him preparing and getting ready. A lot of it was just him waiting for uh, permission from his mother. Finally got the permission, and he set up everything and invited me to come over to the Apisa. I had no clue what that was.
Mm.
I had no clue what to expect, and just went there to support.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of the beginning. Still had no desire whatsoever to mark up my body.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but while I was sitting there, Liai Faiva was the Tufunga, had a chance to call me over. We had a talk, and he had mentioned while he's doing the work, "Are you next?" I go, "No."
Mm.
He goes, "Why not?" He goes, "Oh, this is a Samoan thing. I'm Tongan." He goes, "Oh, it's a Tongan thing too." And at the time, I didn't know too many people that have done this, and I was like, "Oh, I don't think so, man. I don't.
Mm.
I think this is a Samoan thing. I'm happy it's a Samoan thing because I don't know if I could ever go through something like this." And he kind of challenged me, and he said, "Well, if you're, I heard you're a schoolboy too, so um, go do your research and see what you find." And after that day, I kind of felt like I was being challenged in a way. Then I went, I found all this information about tattooing and how that existed in Tonga. I was just amazed, and I realized who was I to question a Tufunga
Mm.
who does this for a living, you know. And I shouldn't have necessarily questioned, but I appreciate him pushing me to kind of find out more information before making any judgments. And
Mm.
so that's kind of when it started. Still no desire,
Wow.
but that's kind of the beginning stages of the process.
Wow. So how long after that? That is a cool story.
Mm.
How long after that, by you doing your research? Well, I want to back up a little bit because first, and I always tell people this, I would like to invite you to any tattoo session. Being there and seeing it, watching it from afar is so different,
Mm.
right? And you got to experience that. That's why I always tell everybody, if there's a tattoo session, tatau or a peta session or malu, go and sit down. You don't even have to talk. Because how did you feel when you're sitting there? First, I just want to go back to that before I jump back forward.
Yeah,
Not knowing nothing, how did you feel when you were there?
it was it's a sacred experience. I don't know how to really explain it because I don't know what words I could use to articulate what that moment was like. And I think being in Utah, we are away from a lot of these practices and rituals that are done
Mm-hmm.
in the Pacific, and and to be able to have that opportunity was a very unique one, and I feel fortunate, lucky that I got to go. You know, again, I didn't know what to expect, but just grateful for my friend, brother in a sense, for him inviting me to come check it out, and
Yeah.
it just opened up a whole new world to me. I had seen it, you see it on YouTube,
Yeah.
you hear people go through the process, and you just are really happy for them, but it's different when you're there. And so the moment I experienced that and got to see what was going on, you start learning a little bit more. It's a lot more than just getting yourself marks. It's a whole process that starts before everything happens and still continues after the whole process is done. Um, so yeah, the experience there it's a special one. You don't forget it, man.
Thank
You hear
you.
the tapping?
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah. That sound will never go away.
yeah,
That
it's
sound will never go away. So after that, thank you for sharing that. Um, Leo Fiverr asked you to go do your research, and you went did your research. How did you know? By finding out all those things, how did you? When did you feel like, okay, I think I want to get this?
yeah, good question. I still didn't have any desires. I was finding different things, because what I did find. I think this is common knowledge now. I think everyone, after they seeing all these Tongans, started getting this, which is not a new thing. This is started coming back.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say from the late '90s to the early 2000s. You have Suape Paulo,
Yeah.
um, who starts that process of reintroducing it to Tongans,
Mm-hmm.
and he begins marking up Tufua Terry Kolomatang. He's based in New Zealand.
Mm.
Unfortunately, he passes during the process, and then the next one that ends up coming through is Isaiah Toitu, who ends up apprenticing under Suape Paulo's brother, the old man,
Mm-hmm.
Alaiva,
Yeah.
Pekelo, and he's the one that ends up kind of training Isaiah, probably for about 10 years. And then he finally gives him the tools, the title of Suape Isaiah Toitu, and he becomes, one of the first in the contemporary time to begin using the tools again. So that was kind of a big moment for a lot of Tongans. It was hard for a lot of Tongans because a lot of us don't have that understanding of that history, and then it's just looked at as, this is a Samoan thing you're trying to bring into the Tongan dynamics of stuff and culture. But yeah, the reality is it's already been there in the history.
Yeah.
Samoans have just been able to do a really good job at preserving the art, everything about Tatau, to then allow, even Hawaiians, Tongans, other folks to re-engage with the art. So
How was the? How was? Thank you for sharing that. How was your parents with it? Because you had to go speak to your parents, and you said your parents are very strict. So strict parents just have that old school mentality, yeah. And how was their take on that? You going to receive your Tatau.
So, before my parents, I still didn't really have the desire, but I had been researching and looking things up. And it wasn't until a conference over here, it was the Tongan Research Association.
Mm.
They had asked us, hey, we see you doing some research on Tatau. Can you come and present over here?
Oh.
And at first I was like, no, we're going to get rocks thrown at us.
Mm.
People are going to be like, who are these guys? Why are they doing this?
Mm.
Well, we were surprised that day. Isaiah was our keynote.
But this is before you got
This
this.
is before.
Ah, okay.
He was our keynote that day and talked about his experience. And then I presented with two of my colleagues, two of my friends, Jake Fitzemanu, which he brought in the connection between Samoa and Tonga in this process. Then you had me, who talked a little bit more about the Tongan history around this. And then our other friend, Fui Taukeao, who's another person who received his Tatau. And he was, at that time, it was still kind of COVID. So the I5 I had worked on it, and he had to go back to his family, or else he was going to get stuck in Utah.
Yeah.
So he left Fui unfinished for about 2 years, just because he worked on him until he tried to finish it before he left, because he had never left anyone unfinished.
Yeah. Yeah. But he had to leave.
He had to leave, or
Because
else he was-
COVID, yeah.
So he said, when I come back, I'll finish you, and that's when he started up with the other Tongans, the rest of us, which was in 2022. So he left in 2020, didn't come back to Utah until 2022. And during that time period is when we did this conference. He was talking about his experience of what it was like for him, how Isaiah, and then our friend Fui shared his experience as well, and how it was tough for him and for a lot of people to accept him, because they're like, dude, you're Tongan, we don't do this. And, so that it began the conversation, and I think for me, I started to realize, if I'm gonna talk the talk, I better walk the walk. And I didn't want him or any other the other Tongans that had done this process before us. And I was like, man, maybe I can help contribute to the discussion, go through the process, do something that our ancestors had done, and see if we can help revitalize or at least reimagine what Tongan Tatau would look like moving forward. So I don't know if a lot of Tongans would accept this or appreciate this, and that's their own decision. You know?
Yeah.
This can only be a Tongan thing if other Tongans are interested. If they're not, then this doesn't really become a Tongan thing. This is just a personal thing that we've done. But seeing that response from the younger generation, it seems like a lot of them are really excited for the opportunity of something like this to kind of reignite, you know.
And I remember I was talking to you a couple of days ago. You mentioned that you said like a lot of the younger generation is more accepting than the older one. Why is that?
To me, I think, man, there's a lot of layers to it. But
Yeah.
I would say, you know, when you look back at the history of the Pacific, the recent history, just within another 100, 200 years, processes of like colonialism,
Yeah.
you know, different islands being taken over, new practices, new values, new things being introduced, that kind of changes a little bit of the dynamic of what our ancestors had established for centuries. Slowly we're being changed, and so I think it's the influence of Western culture into the Pacific. Not saying it's a negative or bad thing, but just that it influenced it to change specific ways that we looked at what we ourselves embodied, understood, learned, taught. And so a lot of those things almost took a back seat to these new things that were being introduced. And so when you look at the older generation, it's not necessarily, I don't believe that they hate these things. I just believe that they've internalized new ideas, new things that they feel is probably relevant for the future. And these other things from the past isn't as relevant in a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So again, that's just one thought process.
Yeah.
That I
Because it's deeper. Yeah.
It's a lot deeper.
And we don't have to go.
Yeah.
We don't have to go that deep because, we're here now.
Yeah.
We're here now. Have you ever felt any pushback from any of Tongans that found out that you received your Tatau?
Yeah, I think there was push. There's always going to be pushback when it's something
Yeah.
different,
And
or something
how did
new.
you deal with that? How did you overcome that?
I think for me is giving them room and space to learn,
Mm.
because once they started to learn, they got to learn for themselves and realize, oh, this is a thing that we've done. Now their perspective changed. It's like me. Like I said, yeah, if I asked me and I said, hey man, this is a Samoan thing.
Mm.
We don't do this as Tongans. So I'm in the same places where a lot of Tongans are.
Mm.
So
And Samoans too.
and Samoans
And
as well.
Samoans.
So I was fortunate to have the time to learn, dive into this information, better understand it. And so who am I to eliminate or take that away from someone else who hasn't had the time to
Mm.
talk about it, learn about it, discuss it with other people?
Mm.
I think that would be foolish of me to take that
Yeah.
away. So even though they have their understanding, their opinion right now, give room for people to learn. And then they can make their judgment. Even if they don't like it afterwards, at least they've learned about it. At least they've talked about it
Mm.
to form a really solid opinion.
And that is great. And also, we can't get mad as us. We can't get mad at those who go against it because, like I said, like you mentioned, you got to give them room to find out for themselves. You know what I mean? Because we were all on that side before.
Yeah.
Even me, I was on that side before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was in that mindset of no. You know what I mean? But like I said, and it goes with time, yeah?
Yeah.
It goes with time, it goes with maturity of where you're at in your life. And I think, and what do you want to do, right? And, if I'm going in the right place. And like you mentioned, you had time to do your little research. And there's always going to be pushback, even for us. There's always going to be pushback. And what is the best advice you can give to um, like another Uso, another Tongan brother that's received their Tatau? You know, what advice can you give them from any pushback? How can you help them to build that confidence?
Yeah, find the community. Find those that are willing to support. As much as there's pushback, there was just enough. There was a same amount of people that were supporting,
Mm.
and so there's a lot of Samoans that reached out and said, "Hey, congratulations! That's a special feat that you've accomplished." I did this right after my PhD,
Mm.
and honestly, the PhD was hard, man. That was like a huge part of my life, and it's allowed me to sustain a position, a job here as a professor. But going through this, almost I felt like it was way more important to me
Mm.
than my degree.
Then your degree. That's awesome.
And I think that was a special moment for me. The hard part was just that I wish I had more people around, like family, community,
Mm.
to support. But like I said, I just had to give them the time.
Mm.
People said, "Why didn't you wait then?" And I was like, "Man, you don't get a lot of these opportunities.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of there's not a lot of people who understand the skill set and are practitioners.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and when you're in Utah, you don't know when the next Tufua is going to
Yeah.
come by.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know who's going to be coming next.
Yeah.
So when you get the opportunity, that's why some of my cousins that joined in, Kim and Lao, Ulysses Tomodevi, some other folks that went through this process, Malakai Makofisi, local boy from here.
Mm-hmm.
All of us was just, this is
Was
not
all under their favor?
all the other.
Nice.
And there's other Tufua right now that's been doing work.
Mm-hmm.
Give them their flowers. Sulape Pika,
Yeah.
the old man's son. He's done a lot. I think before us, the month before us, he did 5 Tongans in Texas,
Mm.
all relatives. Then he came back to Utah or he came to Utah maybe a couple months after us, uh, and was able to mark up my cousin Fui Wakapuna. You know, he the year before he did Talihoma, and then three other guys as well. Uh, man, just it was
That
really
that
cool.
that is awesome.
Yeah,
I got caught by Pika.
Pika, yeah,
Pika. A lot of our guys got caught by Pika and the dad, the old man.
yeah.
And shout out to the to the Suluape family. Love you guys. Thank you for blessing us with this. And Leah Fiver is amazing too. You know, Leah Fiver, shout out to him. Um, Lupe Falele,
Yeah.
Vili Paama in Vegas. Is it Liu Fal in Cali?
In Cali.
Cali and Isaiah. Isaiah,
I
you
said
know.
who's over here.
Yes, a shout out to all those guys who are blessed with that gift of the traditional tattoo. And, you know, I'm so proud. I'm so proud to be sitting by you because, you know, um, I would love to see more, and I'm sure now more of our Tongan families are more accepting and also to receive their Tatau. Um, and same thing for like the Samoan for a while. It's almost like, no, you cannot. You cannot. You know what I mean? Um, so what advice would you want to give to some of the young men that, you know, might be thinking of receiving their, you know, their Tatau? You know, what is the process of that you can help them with?
Yeah, I think doing what you know is gonna help and support you in life. All of us are coming from different places, different backgrounds. You know, some people feel like they're not. Oh, do I have to do a PhD to be able to do this? Nah, nah.
Mm.
What do I have to do? I said, well, do what you need to do as a son,
Mm-hmm.
as a daughter, as a mother, as a father, as a sister, brother, aunt, uncle, whatever you need to do to be right. I think that's, I'm sure there's a lot more, but at least doing what you need to be doing
Mm-hmm.
because you're fulfilling your responsibilities already. And I think if you're doing that and you're at a place in life where you're in the right place, the whole process is going to feel good and feel right.
Mm-hmm.
I think we put too much stipulations that it almost eliminates any possibility for anyone
Yeah,
to do the work.
100%.
And so, yeah, that's I think for me is sometimes we feel like we're less than or we're not enough.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a step towards doing what I can't speak for a lot of Samoans, but I know when someone receives their malofia or their malu, it's almost like a sign of service now for the future.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people ask, so what does this mean for Tongans Day? And I think this is Tongans will be able to figure it out as more Tongans are able to do this. The hope is that maybe we take a note and a page from Samoans and look at this as a service that moves forward, as a reminder, a daily reminder. I have to see this every day of what my fatomia, my kuleana, or whatever that is,
Mm-hmm.
responsibility is to do moving forward. I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So
That is awesome. That is some great advice, wisdom right there. Um, you know, I want to go into that first time you lay down. Is this your first tattoo?
yeah,
You have any other tattoo? See? Go big or go home.
go big, go 1/3 of my body.
Sitting down, going through that process. Oh, first of all, you got the blessings from your parents?
So it was funny. Wanted to get to that. So when I finally decided that
Mm-hmm.
if I was gonna talk the talk, I'm gonna walk the walk, I decided to finally ask my parents. My parents was funny because they know me as an individual. They know me now as their son. Like they looked at me like, man, you've changed as time has gone on.
Mm-hmm.
You used to just say yes whenever we say yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now we do certain things and we don't understand why. But then as time has gone through,
I like that.
I don't know why you made that decision, but you're still doing good stuff in it, it still looks like it's benefiting you.
Mm.
So when I asked my parents about it, my mom said, "Son, I don't know if I say yes or no. He's still probably gonna do it." And she just left it at that.
Mm.
So I was like, "Mom, I'm kind of taking that as a yes." And she said, whatever.
Mm.
And I was like, all right, that's good enough for me. As a
Yeah.
Tongan,
Yeah.
I'm probably not gonna get more than that. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And so she didn't say no. So
Yeah.
I took it as, oh, then this is a yes.
It's a goal.
So they still weren't as excited about the whole process.
Mm-hmm.
I think what they were worried about is what are other people gonna say.
Mm.
And I think a lot of the times, all of us, we always think about what are other people gonna say, and we never check in with the individual that's going through the process. So it would have been nice if people say, "Okay, how are you doing? Are you good? You feel good going through this? You understand the repercussions of what's gonna happen when you go through this?" And if people had asked me and realized like I'm good, you know, whatever comes.
Yeah.
You know, whatever hate comes. But then at the same time, there's gonna be a lot of love at the same time. And so I'm looking forward to all the love that's gonna be coming my way as well.
Yeah.
So
And you do.
yeah.
And you do.
There was a ton.
You do. And going through this, I'm sure you saw a lot of different, like, be'ez or malu show up for the support, and that's the community right
Yeah,
there.
man. That was cool.
Yeah.
My last night, I remember, I was laying there. I peeked up and I looked at everyone that had theirs. They all took off their shirt. All the women pulled up their ear, showed their malu. Man, there was a lot of support from the Samoan community that was there. But there was Hawaiians there who had their markings. So it was a unique thing being in Utah because it wasn't just Tongans. There wasn't just Samoans. There was all these people who had their marks from their own specific cultures there to be supportive of me and the rest that were there getting our marks.
That's
So
awesome.
that was special, man. That was a really cool experience.
That is some good stuff right there, and you just felt the mana. Yeah.
Yeah.
You feel a little different. You felt the mana there. While you're laying down, and that's a great story about your parents. While you're laying down, at a part of your body, you know, and I know it's painful, you know, and ever a time you told yourself, man, I want to stop? Or was there a moment where you had to take your mind somewhere to ignore the pain? You know, how did you overcome that?
Yeah, that's all the time I had to take my mind somewhere else.
Yes.
It was painful, man, but I never not once wanted the A5 to stop. I think there was always moments where I would like, man, it would be nice to have a little break right here, but he just kept going, man. If he was going, he was going. You couldn't stop him. I, you know, my little bathroom breaks were my only time where I can breathe and
That's the
recover.
little break right there.
But coming right back to it, you're just going right at it. So I think I was too in it that I never felt like I wanted to stop.
That is awesome.
And so I think when you're in the right place, you know what's coming.
Yeah.
You know it's gonna hurt, and you just want to see it through. And so I can confidently say that there was not one moment in the process.
That's awesome.
Even though there was probably one of the most painful parts was right in the inner thigh, and even then, I know I was showing a lot of emotion, but I was like, don't stop, man.
Yeah.
You know, go until you need to get done. Go until you get to a place where you feel comfortable to stop. And
That is awesome, man. Because we do have to find that peace. Like you said, great point. You say you know what's coming.
Yeah.
You just gotta take your mind somewhere to find that peace. And I love what you said. Like, you know, receiving this, like you were more excited than getting your PhD or your degree, but it's because it's more meaningful to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This you can't take away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's on us. We can't not take this off. You know what I mean? So I love how you said that this is more meaningful than anything else. I just want to close with this this last question about your Tatau. And thank you again for allowing me to be in your space, in your home, and also sharing your knowledge um, to your people out there, yeah, that's watching this, and our Tongan family and friends, you know, that don't disagree, and who wants to receive this. What final advice would you be able to give to them if they wanted to go through this journey?
Man, yeah. Like earlier I said, just be in the right place. You know, do the work that you need to do to kind of better understand.
Mm-hmm.
All of this is hard because there's not a lot of information out there. But I think there's a good amount of us that are slowly trying to put things together to get that information out there for folks to read, learn, understand. Um, I think the hardest part for everyone is trying to find a tufor, someone that can do the work,
Mm-hmm.
um, and gaining access to them. I think that's the hardest part.
Yeah.
But when you're able to find someone and connect, and they're willing to go through the process with you, um, you know, just follow their lead, man. They'll tell you what you need to do, what you need to prepare for. If they don't mark you, they're not marked. They have that right. You're not ready for this.
That is awesome. Okay, last question. Last question. You know, if any of your kids came up to you and said, Dad, can I get my Tatau or my Malu? You know, what's your answer?
Oh, of course, I'd be excited for them to go through that, and hopefully myself, my wife, everyone else in the family, we can be there to support them as well. I want to make sure I'm there for them, um, because I know what it's like to not necessarily have people there for you. So again, I don't have any ill feelings. Again, people are still trying to navigate those feelings for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It was just tough. I would love to have had people there, but
Yeah.
at the same time, man, I understand where they're coming from.
Yeah.
And so a lot of them have expressed different feelings now than what they had maybe during the time that I'd gone through this. But they would have never began asking those questions if I never gone through that process. So
Yeah.
hopefully me going through this allows, and those that had come before me, again, there's been people all the way from the late 90s, Bomet brothers who had gone in like 2016, 17, around that time. There's different people that have popped up that I've kind of got to know and learned that, there was a Micah Tiedemann back in 2004. He was in high school at the time. All these individuals that had done this prior, even women. This is the part that's missing out, man. Is Tongan women, man. And there's some that's a discussion that needs to be had.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to push it. Like, what does the markings look like for Tongan
For
women?
Tongan women. Is there any?
So there's some writings that we found.
Okay.
Again, what's hard is the writings are all from a Balangi perspective, an outsider's perspective, but at least there's something there that we can potentially work on. And I think, when you look at the Samoan stories of how this comes through with Taima, Tino Whainga,
Yeah.
I think it's important that women are a part of this to decide what can this look like for Tongan women. And that's going to be really cool to see.
That's going to be really cool.
I know there's some Tongan women already with the Malu,
Yeah.
and have created, the Tufuas now slowly. What would this look like for Tongan women?
Yeah.
That'll be.
And I think it will happen.
Yeah.
That the Funga, they put their imagination and bless it with a Tongan, design. I think it'll be really nice to see one. It'd be really nice to see one. Well, family and friends, I think that's a wrap. That's what a great time I got to be here with Inoke and sharing his journey. What an exciting journey of that. And I'd like to encourage you guys out there to, stay positive in what we do. This is probably the first time we ever talk story to each other, and I have a connection with his beautiful family. We all work together here here in PCC. But again, family, enjoy this episode. Thank you again for sharing your knowledge, sharing your gift, and also Leah Five and all the Surapi family and all the other Lukfat Lele, Isaiah, yes, Ufau, or CECE, all the brothers out there doing their work to take care of their family. Thank you for being blessed with this gift. And we continue to share with our families and our community. Yeah? But thank you again, Uso. Family, we love you guys. Thank you for joining us with Tatau, our episode. And God bless. Have a blessed day. Let's go. Yeah. Talafalava, welcome, gang, to our Q&A, another great episode we have right now.